Hello, and welcome to Step 2, the final part, questions 9 through 25. Question number 9. Do I realize I have freedom to choose a higher power based on my own understanding? Am I free to have more than one definition of a higher power? Yes and yes. I do not feel unsettled about my choice of a higher power. I freely choose to believe in the triune God. Number 10. What are my beliefs about a higher power? My belief is that we are God's children, and He is loving and forgiving. I believe in Jesus, the second person of the Holy Trinity, that He willingly sacrificed Himself for our redemption. Number 11. What draws me toward a higher power? I think everyone has a need to have a relationship with their Creator. God draws me to Himself. Sometimes I resist, but I usually accept His invitation. Number 12. Have I tried letting go and letting a higher power into my life? How? God has been an important part of my life for a long time, but I could always trust Him more. Number 13. When do I seek a higher power? I am more likely to seek God when things aren't going well, when life is calm. Sometimes I forget about God. Lucky for God, my life isn't calm very often. Number 14. Am I ready to accept guidance from my higher power? Explain. I am ready, but I don't always know what that means practically speaking. Sometimes I say to God, I have no idea what to do, so if I should be doing something else, please make it extremely obvious. I try to trust God will guide me to where He wants me and to what is best for me. Guidance can take the form of many things, such as having a great thought or idea, receiving an unexpected opportunity, or the positive influence of other people. Sometimes life just forces my hand, and I like to think those times are God guiding me to where I need to go. Number 15. How can coming to believe in a higher power help me to change my thoughts, feelings, and actions? I already believe in a higher power, but if I trusted God 100%, I think I would be less anxious. I would know for certain that everything in my life will work together for my good and the good of those I love. Even if something bad happens, I will be okay. Restoration to sanity. Step 2 is a transition step that takes us from where we are toward where we want to be. We open our hearts and minds and connect with a higher power and other recovering people. Step 2 tells us we cannot be restored to sanity if we are afraid of letting go. Our behavior was often distorted by frustration, anger, and fear. We reacted to the addict in ways we could not justify. This program invites us to practice humility in order to begin our progress toward recovery. It is said that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. In steps 1 and 2, we begin the journey toward healthier, more rational thoughts and behaviors. We may need to recover from our obsession with the addict's behavior or our need for control. We may need to learn to let go and not allow others to have power over us. We may need to stop blaming ourselves or expecting our lives to be without problems. Believing we had to live as victims of abusive or unfair treatment is unhealthy. We acknowledge our past mistakes, and with the help of a higher power, we find new, more appropriate ways of handling situations. We are now ready to believe a power greater than ourselves can restore us to sanity. We can take a step back, breathe, and let go of our imaginary power. We can accept this higher power and use it in our daily lives. We can learn to live one day at a time. A member shares a story on restoration to sanity. When I attended my first Nar-Anon meeting, I had not yet reached the apex of insanity, which gripped me by the throat. It would take a few more incredibly painful years of living with active addiction to get there. But as addicts do, I also reached a point of emotional pain so great I could not live with it any longer. In fact, I did not want to live at all. I wanted to be out of pain and away from anyone who could make it worse. Those people included my friends and family, everyone I loved. The solution seemed easy. If I was not alive, I would not have to endure any more pain. What kept me going at the time was that I did not want to hurt my mother. I came back to Nar-Anon because my life was so out of control and unmanageable that seeking help from others with the same problems was my best hope. People I met in Nar-Anon seemed healthier and certainly happier than I was. I wanted what they had spiritually and emotionally. I needed to learn from them how to let go of the fear and rage that was making me insane and how to grab onto the lifeline they offered. That lifeline was the fellowship, the 12 steps of Nar-Anon, and a higher power of my own understanding. The combination of being with people I could trust, working the steps, and giving control to a power greater than myself helped restore my sanity. Question number 16. Do I believe a power greater than myself could restore me to sanity? If not, what is stopping me? I do. I can give up at times, though. When my son relapses, I tend to question the power of God. Number 17. What does sanity mean to me? I'm not sure if this question is asking how I define sanity or what value sanity has to me. For the definition, I agree with the dictionary. Sanity is the state of being free from mental derangement, having a sound, healthy mind, having or showing reason, sound judgment, or good sense. I think sanity is very important. Not having it really ruins relationships. Number 18. How has my past behavior created problems in my relationships and my life? I hadn't had much, if any, exposure to drug addicts before my son became one. I don't know all the mistakes I made. Someone else would need to answer this question for me. Even in hindsight, I don't know how much better I could have done. Maybe I'm in denial. But my son was a child when this started, so I was responsible for his health and welfare. It is extremely challenging to be responsible for an addict's health and welfare. It is extremely challenging to try and control someone who refuses to cooperate. Number 19. What have I learned from repeating the same patterns of behavior and each time expecting a different outcome? I have learned that trying to make someone do something they don't want to do, no matter how good it is for them, does not produce the desired result. I have learned to avoid giving unsolicited advice. Number 20. In what ways do I see my higher power restoring me to sanity? I believed I could fix a problem that isn't possible for me to fix, no matter how bad I want to. Even though I still daydream from time to time that I will say or do something to spark a true conversion for him, God has opened my eyes to see reality. I can't change him. He has opened my hands to let go of the grip I had on him. He has opened my heart to love him no matter what. Number 21. What past behaviors am I beginning to change? I am not hounding him like I used to. I am not micromanaging his appointments and medication like I used to. I am not quick to offer help, but wait for him to come to me. Number 22. How do my actions, at times, differ from what I truly feel? I feel sad that he has so much potential and doesn't seem inspired to reach it. I feel like I will get a call someday that he is dead and that I didn't get to say goodbye. I feel helpless. Number 23. Recovery requires patience and understanding. Do I expect immediate results? No, I don't expect immediate results. I also don't expect perfect recovery. The broken pieces of my heart can be put back together, but there will always be scars. Number 24. If I allow myself the time I need to accept what this step means to me, how do I believe this will help my recovery? I think it will be good to review this step from time to time and see if anything has changed. I think a lot of the recovery process is letting things marinate, and when they're ready to take hold, they will. Number 25. Why does the second step say could restore us to sanity instead of would restore us to sanity? I think it says could because it's possible, but we still need to work for it to actually happen. God is inviting us to sanity, but we do not have to accept his invitation. If we do accept it, we will need to do some soul searching and change some thoughts and behaviors, and that can be very hard. We find ourselves starting to understand addiction, what it has done to us, and what it has done to our families and friends. Addiction is a cunning, baffling, and powerful disease. Slowly the veil of confusion is lifted. We are now willing to find a better way to live. The steps and tools are here for us to use when we are ready. It is recommended that we take our time and try not to get ahead of ourselves. We all come to in our own way. A Step 2 story. For me, Step 2 seemed like an easy step. I believed in a power greater than myself, whom I chose to call God. This step only asked me to come to believe. I could do that, and now on my way to Step 3. Then I realized there was another part to this step. This power was going to restore me to sanity. That is where my faith had stopped. I believed there was a power greater than myself, but restoring me to sanity was another matter. Did I need to be restored to sanity? Wasn't it the addict who had the problem? This made me stop and think about the steps and what they were saying to me. I had been reading the parts I liked out of each step, the accepting parts. Step 1 states we are powerless over the addict. Yes, I believe that. Then it says my life had become unmanageable. No, wait, I am in control of everything. I know what the addict should do, and I am helping him by not letting him suffer any consequences. It is his life that is unmanageable. This prompted me to reread Step 2. The second part tells me this power is going to restore me to sanity. So do I have to accept my life is unmanageable and I need to be restored to sanity? That seemed a little more involved than I first thought. Maybe there is more to these steps than meets the eye. Maybe I need to slow down and listen to my higher power. Maybe I need to learn more about myself and how this disease of addiction has confused me. I am so grateful to the Nar-Anon Program for allowing me to grow at my own pace and come to the realization I cannot be in control of everything and everyone. I cannot solve the world's problems. I am not God. I do not have the power to fix things. Through these steps, I have not only strengthened my belief in a higher power, but I have come to experience the spiritual connection with my higher power that this program offers. Reflections on Step 2. Step 2 is about hope, trust, and belief in a higher power of our own choosing. In the past, we placed our trust in our ability to run our lives, but this did not work. A higher power helps us by planting a little seed of hope in our hearts. This is the beginning of a process of recognizing a higher power can work to improve our lives. When we think about the past, we may not be proud of our behavior. Growth is enhanced by a willingness and readiness to be humble. We open ourselves to the help, guidance, and loving care of a higher power. We attend meetings and draw strength from the collective wisdom and shared experience of others. We begin to place faith and trust in our higher power. As we develop a relationship with our higher power, we take comfort in knowing a God of our understanding will guide, nurture, and care for us. We begin to see the glass as half full, not half empty. We draw positive outcomes from negative experiences. We convert our fears from the past into hope for the future. We begin to understand that our obsessions and compulsive behaviors will decrease. Our higher power can free us from the anxiety we have carried. We no longer expect the worst will happen. When the phone rings, we no longer expect bad news. We no longer choose to be alone to wait, cry, and obsess. Thoughts of the addict do not occupy our minds continuously. We hear a voice of encouragement and love when we are feeling alone. We react in new ways to events rather than repeating old responses. We can do something good for ourselves each day. We can focus our energy on the positive things in our lives. Whatever our situation, belief, understanding, trust, or acceptance of a higher power is, we are free to discover what works for us. Trust the process. Have faith that at the right time, either we will find our higher power or our higher power will find us. One day at a time, our lives will begin to reflect peace and serenity. Thank you for completing Step 2 with me. Join me next time as we move on to Step 3.